are here with Jared Gordon, who's got a big fight coming up against former UFC fighter Jeff Lentz. How are you tonight? Welcome to the show.
I'm well, Susan. How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. So how is training camp coming along for you? You were recently out training with Donald Cerrone, right?
Yeah, I was in New Mexico for a month, and it was amazing. It was a great experience. You know, we were 7,000 feet above sea level, so there was a huge difference I could feel the difference in my cardio. You know, you can't even breathe out there, but everything's coming along smoothly. You know, no injuries, and I feel strong. And we got 3 weeks left, so I'm closing out camp, and I feel great.
Can you share with us any funny Donald Cerrone stories? Because he's quite a character. A lot of our fans love him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. You know, we would train all day, 3 times a day, and it would be like 9 p.m. on like a Tuesday, and he'd be like, "Oh, let's go scuba diving." And all right, let's go scuba diving. You know, and it was nonstop with him, and he's so generous, and he was. I mean, he's just a great guy all around. Like he's just like he's willing to do anything for you. He'd give you the shirt off his back. You know, they might not portray him to be like the nicest guy, but you know that's TV for you. But he's a great dude, and I was surprised actually, to be honest.
How do you think you match up stylistically with Jeff then?
Well, you know, Jeff's well-rounded in all areas. He's been around a while, and he's fought a lot of tough guys. But you know, I think that I don't think he's great anywhere. Okay. I think he's just well-rounded. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything that I really haven't seen before. You know, I'm not saying he's not a tough guy. He definitely is. I respect all my opponents, and I just think that you know, I think my wrestling's a little bit better. Okay. You know, and I think that stylistically, like once it hits the floor, I think my ground and pound, you know, definitely beats his. And the stand up, I think we're pretty even. If not, I think I'm better in stand up as well.
This is for the featherweight championship. So any extra pressure for you in that regard?
You know what? I look at all my fights as like glorified sparring. You know, it's just in front of my friends and family now, and it's not really any extra pressure. Like I knew I was going to get here anyways, and for me, like this is just another step closer to my goal, which is the UFC. So, you know, I'll just assess everything once I get to that point. Right now, I feel fine. There's no added extra pressure, you know.
Yeah. So then, your ultimate goal is the UFC, then?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, everybody wants to get to the top. It's a great organization. Would you consider signing with Bellator or WSOF if they come along with a deal, though?
If they wanted to pay me a lot of money, yeah, sure. But like, nah, I want to fight for UFC.
You're holding out for the big guns. Good for you.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers how you got your nickname and what it is, please.
It's Jared Flash Gordon. You know, people call me Flash Gordon, but it's more just Flash for me. You know, naturally, being my last name is Gordon, so like Flash just goes along, you know, with the movie Flash Gordon. But my one of my old coaches named me Flash because I wouldn't stop moving. Like they always said I had good cardio, so it was like, oh, the kid doesn't stop moving, and it was just Flash and. Being with Gordon, it just went naturally, so that's how I got that.
How did you get started in MMA?
Well, I graduated from high school, and I had no like real direction at that point. You know, I was going to go to college, and I had gained some weight. You know, like during my high school years, and I came out of high school and I was like, this is ridiculous. And UFC was like blowing up at the time. And one day I came out of the subway and I looked up and there was a martial arts gym. It was the old Rhino fight team, and that's where Frank Yeager started, a couple other successful fighters. So I walked in there, I started taking jiu-jitsu and boxing, and I fell in love with it. And 4 months later, I had my first amateur fight. I was 17 years old.
Yeah. Wow. Life-changing experience then, huh?
Oh, yeah. You know, I was going to do it just as like, oh, I'll cross this off my bucket list type thing. And then once I got in that cage and I won, it was like I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Now, you have an amazing story of how you were almost dead. Can you share that with our viewers, please?
It is I wouldn't call it amazing. I really feel like I don't feel like my story is like unique. I know I'm an addict. I'm a drug addict, an alcoholic, and there's a million people with my story. I know so many people with the same story. I think the only difference is that what I decided to do and change
Right.
and turn my life around. But yeah, I overdosed twice. I was dead for 2 minutes. With one of them, heroin was my drug of choice, opiates. But that was it didn't end there for me. I just kept going. But I think honestly that my addiction turned me into the person that I am today. And if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would be where I am right now, because I think I would have stayed like partying and being like a regular Joe, going out to the bar and by getting sober has propelled my career. And if I was still like drinking and being like like a 20-year-old, then I don't think I would be where I am right now.
Mm. What was the turning point for you then?
Well, came to a point where my parents were like, all right, we had enough of this. I was in and out of institutions and jails. I had got arrested in Florida, and I was facing 25 to life, and I beat the charges.
Wow.
The day that I got out of jail, that's when I overdosed.
Yeah.
And I kept running. I came home. I was homeless in Florida. I came home to New York. I told my parents I needed help. They brought me back up here. I went away for a little bit. Came back. I relapsed. I was homeless in New York. I remember it was like Thanksgiving. It was freezing cold.
Wow.
And I was panhandling, and
Aww.
that's never really all that fun. So I decided I needed to go away for long-term treatment, and I went to a facility in upstate New York, and I was there for 6 months.
Mm.
And so I stayed there for 6 months. It was pretty enlightening experience, and that's when I cleaned my act up. So I came home, and that's when I got back to fighting, and I went from there, and now here I am.
When I say it's an amazing story, what I was implying was it's amazing because you came out of it and you came out clean, because so many addicts don't. How difficult was rehab for you then? Must have been tough.
Well, that was like my 10th rehab stint, so I was pretty used to being away, and I just came out of, like a couple months before that, I just came out of a maximum security holding facility in Florida, and so that was a little more rough than where I was, and so I was pretty, like, I wouldn't say institutionalized, but I was definitely used to being in places like that. I've never done like serious time, but 6 months was the longest I've ever done in a facility. But I think I counted with my sponsor that I did. I was in 22 different facilities, including jails, rehabs, and homeless shelters and psych wards. So I've been through the mill, and it was all just part of my process. It was part of my journey, and I remember being in these places and being like, here we are, and here we are again, like in another facility. I'm wearing some hospital clothing, I'm sitting on like a cot, and here I am. I'm back in some sort of facility, and it was just like a cycle for me.
Yeah.
But finally, after 6 months of being in a facility where you were basically locked down the whole time, I had enough. I basically hit a bottom, especially after dying and getting locked up. My parents call me like they call me the cat with 11 lives instead of just a cat with 9 lives. I have more chances than a cat does. So.
I kind of, after hearing this story, I kind of agree with them.
Yeah. It gets pretty deep. I can't even really scratch the surface.
Okay.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to other people out there who may be struggling with addiction issues, since you've really been through so much?
Oh man, that's actually a tough question, because there's so many
Each person's different, yeah.
But I mean, the bottom line is that if you're gonna use drugs or alcohol and it makes your life unmanageable, then you need to change, because it's only going to lead you to death or prison or institutions, just like everyone else that becomes a drug addict. And if you don't go away, then you're just sitting on the street corner, and that's like a jail cell in itself, you know. So I know a lot of people that call, police officers that have arrested them in the past angels with handcuffs. Because if they didn't go away for an extended period of time, they probably would have died on the streets, you know. So those are blessings, you know. Those, if you get locked up and you're a drug addict, or if you go away and you're an addict, it's a blessing. You have another chance, you know, and you have a chance to get clean. Because for me, there was no getting clean on my own. I needed to be put away for an extended period of time. So I think it's like you just need to do it for yourself as well. You can't do it for anyone else, and it has to be something that you really want to do. Because for me, I was like, there was points where I was like, I don't want to stop getting high. You know, like, this is what I want to do. I don't care about anybody else. But it came to a point where I was just like, I need to do this for myself because I'm sick of it. So they'll know when they hit that point, and that's your bottom, you know, and that's what most addicts or alcoholics need, is a bottom in order to get clean. Because if you have a car and you got money in your pocket and you live in a nice place, but your life is crazy, you're not going to stop, because what's the difference? You can afford everything, you know.
Good point. Yeah. Now we're going to go to some questions from Twitter.
Cool.
We have a question from Ryan, USA Army Yancey at Amarin81. Do you prefer a stand-up fight with lengths, or do you see the fight hitting the mat?
I mean, I see it in both areas. Like I said, Jeff's a well-rounded fighter, and he's pretty slick everywhere. So I'm just gonna go with the flow, see what happens. You know, I'm comfortable everywhere, and I feel like I'm gonna do well everywhere with him. So I'm not really planning any sort of like I don't really like having a game plan anyways, because then it's like if you have a game plan your whole fight camp and it's not going according to plan, then you might freak out and be like, oh, now what? So for me, it's just be as well prepared everywhere that I can be, and I'll just see what happens, you know, and I'll make adjustments as I go.
Atlantic City, fighting in front of a lot of your hometown fans. What can the fans and the viewers expect to see when they tune in? By the way, fans and viewers, you can watch the show on CBS Sports Network. The organization just signed a big deal with them, so check your local listings for that. So what can fans expect to see when they tune in then?
It's going to be great. It's going to be a great fight. I really think that me and Jeff are going to put on a great show. You know, it's funny because I know Jeff, and like for some reason, like I thought our paths were going to cross, and it was just coincidence that we're crossing paths now. But I think it's going to be a good fight because we're stylistically, we're both like, I'm not like the kind of guy that's just I'm just gonna take you down and lay on you. Like, I want to fight, and Jeff wants to fight. So I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I think it might be fight of the night, and
ooh, that's exciting.
I think it's going to be, it's 5-minute rounds, and so I think it's going to be a bang 'em up barn burner. I think it's going to be cool, definitely.
Anything else you'd like to add today?
Just thank you to everyone that's been supporting me. Especially through all the stuff that I've gone through. A lot of people counted me out, and here I am. But I just want to say to everyone that if I can do it, you can do it. Nothing's impossible. So just count your blessings and do what you got to do, and you'll make it.
Also, can you please give our viewers your social media accounts so they can follow you?
Yes, I'm at New York City Flash Gordon on Twitter and Instagram, and Facebook. I'm just Jared Gordon on Facebook. So follow me, and I'll follow back.
Okay. Jared Gordon, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. I wish you good luck on your fight, and I want to remind the viewers again that you can catch Jared's fight on the CBS Sports Network. Please check the local listings in your area. Good luck.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.